All right, so we're going to talk about going in the other direction today with 6.3 day 2. So instead of given the information that something is a parallelogram, we are actually going to prove that it's a parallelogram. So based off of congruent sides and angles and all the different properties that our parallelograms have, our final proof statement is always going to be such and such is a parallelogram. So our last justification is going to have to be if some sort of information, then it's a parallelogram. So it's like the justifications we used yesterday, but flipped. They're the converse of each other. So you're going to use things like if one pair of opposite sides is both parallel and congruent, then it's a parallelogram. If the diagonals bisect each other, then it's a parallelogram. If both pairs of opposite sides are parallel, then it is still a parallelogram. If both pairs of opposite sides are congruent, parallelogram. If both pairs of opposite angles are congruent, parallelogram. And if one angle is supplementary to both its consecutive angles, so if one angle is supplementary to the angle on its left and the angle on its right, then parallelogram. So this one is 6 different justifications, slightly different from yesterday, but following the same thought process. So let's look at our first example, number 1. It says that given AB is congruent to CD, AB over here, that's marked for us, is congruent to CD, and BC is congruent to DA. So this is talking about sides that are opposite from each other, and they're congruent. So I just want to look back at our justifications again. If one pair of opposite sides is both congruent and parallel, did we talk about parallel lines at all? We didn't. Did we talk about the diagonals? No. Did we talk about opposite sides? Yes, we did. And now I'm realizing one of these is supposed to say angles. Ha ha ha. Angles. That makes more sense. Nope. Both pairs of, parallel. Just kidding. Ha ha ha. Here we go. So are both sides parallel? No. Are both sides congruent? Yes. Are both pairs of opposite angles congruent? We didn't talk about angles at all. There are angles there, but we didn't talk about them. And we didn't talk anything about supplementary. So if both pairs of opposite sides are congruent, then it's a parallelogram. So let's see. BC is opposite from AD. Those are congruent. AB is opposite of CD, and those are congruent. Honestly, this is the shortest one you'll probably ever have to deal with. Just based off of the given information, we can say that ABCD is a parallelogram by saying if both pairs, opposite sides, are congruent, then it's a parallelogram. So you're going to go through this with the other 4 questions. Some of them are a little bit longer than others. Some of them are only a couple of steps. Work these out as much as you can. Ask questions in class. Check the key. Make sure you're feeling comfortable with these. Okay?